What is going on, guys? It is Chris here and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a weekly recap for the week of July 11th. As always, I'm going to try to keep this short. We only have a few trades to go over. We're firstly going to be covering some SPY puts that we took early in the week. Secondly, we're going to be covering some mindset that I had throughout these secondary SPY puts here on the 12th. We're also going to be covering some short squeeze right here for these calls. We're going to cover the loss that I had, as well as the win that I had that kind of relates to this loss. We're going to talk about mindset and through that one, and then a lotto to top off the week on UPST calls. So let's hop right into this. On the 11th, we had our first plays right in through here. Now, we talked about this on our previous video. If you guys have watched that one, you understand that we have the short squeeze setup, which is 4 legs, 4 waves, 1, 2, 3, and this fourth wave is always the sharpest. So I'm expecting some consolidation, chop to the side. When we see this breakout, this is when I know, okay, we're going to see a very sharp, it's a very quick leg to the upside. It's the final leg of our short squeeze. Everything's playing out very nicely. The third leg is the biggest leg. Fourth leg is generally the second or third largest leg, but it's always the sharpest one. It takes the least amount of time. So we start to spot this consolidation or a dip off the high here. We see a retest, and this is when we enter our puts. Again, we already talked about this. We enter more puts over here at 10.59. Where's that 10.59 right here? SPX 0 DTE, and we enter Wednesday puts right here again at about 11.12, 11.15 area. And so all of these 3 trades got us, these percentages. We got the 0 DTEs for 400%, but even if you got the Wednesday one, 64 and 29. So again, less risk. We have 2 days until expiry, or 3 if you want to count Monday. But that's how we were able to catch that gain. We held through the downtrend, no swing whatsoever. Very, very easy stuff. But that kind of tells you that you can still get puts. You don't have to call the top. Like up here, we obviously basically got the top. But later down in the trend, SPX puts and then SPY puts for Wednesday, so 2 days till expiry. You don't have to catch the absolute top, so just remember that. Now, heading into our next trades, we got, what do we have here? We have some puts on the 12th, 380 puts and 382 puts. So on these ones, what we did is we actually ended up catching the bottom of a trend. Now, I was expecting a sell-off day in the CPI, and I was trying to, first of all, catch this as a day trade. Right here at the very bottom of this trend, we did not get a good entry whatsoever. But I'll tell you guys a brief overview of what happened. We ended up holding this throughout the entirety of the day. I was in voice chat with the crew, and we were just holding this. And we actually had our puts down here. It was the 380s or the 382s. We had the 380s, and we held this throughout the entire day. We added 382s, and I'll tell you guys why we added. We had, first of all, this very weak uptrend after this very sharp move to the downside in the early morning. And what we saw is this high form right here at about 8:30. Now, when it did not break this high here, I'm expecting a break of the high on this leg up. But what happens is it actually rejects wicks and then just immediately has a big fat red candle right there. What that tells me is that sellers are in complete control at this 3868 level. And so they push it above slightly, 50, 25 cents, but immediately they're pushing to the downside. And then we start to see these breaks of the levels down here. That's how we know we can hold, we're fine. So we catch this move to the downside. We're expecting the bounce, and even though they're de-risking into CPI, correct, we are still expecting the bounce. So we sell around these areas, we sell around these consolidation areas, which are fine for us, and we're able to catch these nice gains of 209%, 248%. Again, we don't want to be swinging into CPI, so that's what we do. We just sell it before Wednesday, even though we did end up having that nice gap down, right? So the third play that we ended up making, the third sort of section I want to go over here, are these SPX calls. So we got actually 350 calls on SPX, and we ended up getting 382% on these. So what happened is, like I spoke about earlier in the video, let's go to the 1-minute charts, way easier to see the entry. We see these legs of the short squeeze. So we had the first leg, second leg, third leg. Remember the sharp leg to the upside, but again, it's a longer leg, not as sharp as the fourth leg that we're about to cover here. We have a big leg that's a lot of percent gain, the largest percent gain, and we climb the most points. We have a nice area of consolidation right here, and then that is our entry at about 7.59. I'm noticing consolidation, we're not breaking 1, 2, and of course we entered a little bit before this dip, so we're down 10% or so, but we end up seeing that squeeze to the upside. And this is not this is a quick trade. It's not like it's something that we have to hold for a very long time. It's a 13-point move, and maybe someone will call me lucky for calling a little consolidation area, but if you can just identify that price action, 13-point move to the upside, this is just easy 382% gain in just a matter of, say, 7-8 minutes right there. And if you want to just sell on this candle right here, it's about already 100% gain in a few minutes right there. but you want to be catching the lows or the wicks of this consolidation. If you see it wicking on the bottom right here of the consolidation zone, never ever buy puts, only if it's breaking below and holding below on say a 3-minute or a 5-minute chart, because then you know. And then also if it's breaking the 9 MA, then it's, you know, breaking the structure of the short squeeze, right? So keep that in mind, please, please, please. Now for the next play, I'm going to go over the loss that we had, which were the 3765 puts, and we got in on these on the 13th. Let's see here. And from what I believe, we basically were just, oh, here it is. We're just completely early on this trend. Now I'm expecting the trend to the downside. After CPI, we're having this pump, and we actually do have 0 DTE on SPX. Now I recommended to the VC we go into, you know, non-zero DTE for SPY, but we ended up doing SPX 0 DTE. We enter right here at about 913. Obviously, as you can tell, we just get completely destroyed. My algo even alerted short down here, so I thought we're getting a better entry. We don't end up breaking the lows, but that's just, you know, a lesson that I learned. And what ends up happening, as you can see down here, we have news, which is quite lucky, but we don't hold. We end up exiting up here, and that's a fat loss, right? 78% wipes some gains from earlier in the day. We do have that nice 386% or 382%, but still not going to equate for a gain on that one. So that's a loss that we're going to be having. If we did have, you know, more SPY puts for Friday, it would have been nice, and we did. So after that loss, we actually did have SPY puts, which we bought at the same time. We held through the pain and were able to profit off of those. So keep that in mind. If you do buy some more time, you're easily going to be able to hold. You're not going to be down 70%. You're going to be down 30, 40%, right? So UPST is the last play I want to go over, as well as Roblox. Whoops. So UPST. Let's look at this one. On Friday, Lotto Friday, of course, we're going to be buying 0 DTE. I bought 25.5 strike calls. Now, at the moment, at the time I was looking at this, it was about 25 cents off of hitting 25.5 to go in the money on these calls. I loaded 25.5 calls, and I'm looking basically at momentum to the upside. So we had a rejection off this trend line. So what we have here is trend line support. We broke the support, but we still, you know, bounced here. We finally broke here, consolidation area, retest here in the beginning of the downtrend. So what I know is this is actually a very, very strong area of resistance and support. We can expect big reactions. Now, what I see is a rejection in the morning. We basically fill the entirety of the gap. We wick once, we wick twice. We continue the uptrend. Big buyers in this area, right? Off the gap. And then we're approaching here. I'm watching UPST as we approach. And I'm seeing the momentum to the upside is so strong. At 0 DTE, I know we're going to break. You kind of have to have this in the back of your brain. What do you think is going to happen? We've basically been rejecting several times. After a third or fourth time, there's just no way in hell that they're going to have this reject so many times. They've collected so much liquidity down here of all these wicks, right? You think it's going to continue to push to the ups or to the downside? Nope. So they reject it here. A little bit of chop. I know this is bullish chop. We break to the upside, and that is so easy. 252% to cap off Friday. That is just lovely, right? So amazing play. You have to have that in the back of your mind. If you see this sort of consolidation right below a trend line or some sort of big resistance or support, watch for the break to the upside, or, you know, to the downside, of course. If it's a downtrend, watch those reactions. And then the last play we had was Roblox. The algo has been struggling a tad bit more than usual. So you see a little bit of chop in through here on the 5-minute chart that we're looking at. Roblox is amazing on the 5-minute. So we caught these calls in through here. We got next week expiry. If we got 0 DTE, holy crap, that would have been, you know, probably, you know, I'm going to say 500% ish. So we end up catching about 40 or 50% actually into the close on Friday, and we're swinging a few as runners. So very nice. That's what we capped off the week with. I think that was a great week, if you ask me. Very good trading week, although we had, you know, the one loss that ended our 21 trade green streak, but that is definitely okay. We're still rolling, and we're going to be good on this coming week. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me know if you have any questions, and I hope to see you guys in the next one.